Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In our last episode, we discussed the first 3 common questions parents have about ADHD. I'm so grateful to have Emma here today also, my lovely collaborator. Let's welcome Emma. Some parents say their child is always running, fidgeting, tapping things or can't sit at the dining table or in class. What does this mean? Is this related to ADHD?
Hi everyone, it's me, Emma J, and I am here to answer another question for you about ADHD. So, when it comes to a child who's always fidgeting, running around, and can't sit still at the dinner table or in class, it's a pretty classic sign of what we often think of the hyperactive side of ADHD. Now, traditionally, it's more commonly recognized in boys. Boys with ADHD are often the ones who get noticed because they're physically active, moving around, and just have that outward energy. On the flip side, ADHD can present very differently in girls or even in some boys. Inattentive type of ADHD. Instead of that outward hyperactivity, they might be more internally distracted. They might daydream, zone out, or have trouble focusing without that obvious physical restlessness like some other kids do. So, in other words, for some kids, ADHD shows up like that little motor that never stops. And for others, it's more like a silent movie playing in their head where they're just lost in their own thoughts. Both are totally valid ways that ADHD can show up. So that's the reason why a lot of ADHD adult women got overlooked, is because of them being overlooked in childhood when their ADHD was just presenting a little bit differently than it does with boys, just more internalized.
Emma, many parents also ask, why does my child interrupt conversations and blurt out answers without waiting? Why does this happen?
The first one I want to note is that a lot of times thoughts in our brains can kind of be like a slippery fish. Like if we don't say it now or put it down or something like that, it's going to be gone. It's going to slip right out of our brains. So we need to like say it before the person's done talking, or we're going to lose it. And then when they're done talking, if we're trying to hold that thought, but we're also trying to listen to the person, once they're done talking, we're going to be like, wait a minute, what was I going to say? And that's just so frustrating. Another reason why is people with ADHD often have super quick minds. So we can see where a conversation is heading and might already know the answer before the question's fully out. So because of that, we might jump in early simply because we already know what you're about to ask. It seems very rude. Second, there's a bit of impulse control factor there too. Waiting can be really hard for an ADHD brain. It's like having a thought that's so eager to come out that it can't sit still. So it's not about being rude. It's just how our minds work. Like we have to get it out before it slips away, like the fish kind of analogy. So in short, it's a combination of quickly seeing the end of the question and having that little bit of impulse difficulty that makes us jump in. It's just a part of ADHD brain. It's just a part of how ADHD brains are wired.
Emma, if a parent suspects their child has ADHD, what's the very first step they should take?
The very first step is usually to start by taking them to a professional. That can be their pediatrician or a family doctor. They can help guide you through the process, maybe do an initial screening, and then if needed, refer them to a specialist like a child psychologist or a developmental pediatrician. So in short, step one is just having that initial conversation with a healthcare provider who can help figure out the next steps. And from there, it's a journey, but that first step is just reaching out.
Last question for today. Can a child with ADHD still be successful in school and in life?
Absolutely. So, in fact, many people with ADHD are indeed high achievers, even. One reason is that they often set ambitious goals for themselves, sometimes even higher than what others might set for themselves. That drive can be a huge strength. Sometimes it can be a bit of a weakness. It just depends on the person, because sometimes we can set goals that are so high that we can't achieve them. And then if we don't achieve them, we can feel really bad about ourselves. That's called RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria, which is a whole other topic. But anyways, getting back to this question, But that drive can be a huge strength. They're often creative, out of the box thinkers, and when I have ADHD, find something that we're passionate about, they can hyper focus and excel. So, from a scientific standpoint, the right and with the right support, like tailored learning strategies, accommodations, and sometimes behavioral therapies, kids with ADHD can thrive both academically and in life. It's really about understanding their unique brain wiring and leveraging their strengths. So, with the right tools and encouragement, they can absolutely be successful.